China's rising middle class is travelling more than ever before, with an estimated 112 million overseas trips this year alone. Earlier today, I spoke with Henrik Kjellberg, chairman of eLong Travel, one of China's largest online booking companies. We began by talking about the Chinese slowdown and the effect it's having on the travel industry. Thank you very much for joining us. China's economy is slowing down. How is that affecting your industry?
I would say none. The reason for that is there is a huge proportion of people starting to travel. So although the growth rates are decaying from 10 to sort of the high numbers underneath 10, there's still just what people want to do once they bought a house and a car is they want to go traveling. It is typically the third largest disposable expenditure a family will do. So you still have enormous growth from that. And then you have the growth from people who were traditionally traveling offline and then migrating now online or to mobile phones. And those growth rates are still far exceeding any sort of decrease in GDP growth that we're seeing.
A lot is said about the growing middle class in China. But what about the hundreds of millions of working class Chinese? What do they choose when they book a holiday?
One of the things we pioneered with eLong was group travel, which caters to people who don't have a lot of disposable income. And it's grown like wild grass. And we've seen other players copy our tactics there and develop that. And that is now one of the fastest growing segments in China. And a lot of that group travel is actually for staying in the same village and maybe people going to the movies and having a night out away from the kids or whatever. So a lot of it is actually not travel, but then people going to stay very close to home, which is interesting and something I don't think we've seen so much in outside China. So a bit of a Chinese peculiarity there. So group travel in China very big and catering to more of the blue collar, working class that is slowly migrating towards the middle class.
Is there a growing demand for travel outside of China?
I haven't seen the latest stats, but I imagine the Chinese are now probably in the top 3 outbound tourism markets in the world already. Granted, a lot of it is today still group travel, but increasingly what will happen as the Chinese consumers go outside, many of them will start going independent travel, and that's what we're already seeing if you look at places like Thailand or other places which do not require visas. High level of frequent independent travel that goes outside China. Whilst the international part of Chinese tourism is very interesting and good, there is still so much to do just within China. And if you look at what's happened in most countries, actually, most of the tourism, most of the travel business is domestic, and that is exactly what we see in China as well. And the industry is just booming, whether it be airlines, airports being built, or hotel industry, or even rental car industry, which is also now growing in China. So just phenomenal opportunities within China. That's where the main priorities are for the foreseeable future.
Thank you very much for your time.